Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. I'm Fan for Racing Sharon, and joining me today is Jay Huseman, and we are here for the Tri City preview for the ARCA West Series. 2 ARCA races this week, one for the ARCA Menard Series and one for the ARCA West Series. This one at Tri City.
Well, being that we've done all the others except for the Cups, we'll see if we can avoid saying Watkins Glen when talking about this one, because it is the ARCA West and it is Tri-City. So a little bit of a change from what we've been talking about so far, but a lot to talk about here with the ARCA Menard Series West Series, race number 7, I believe, on the year for them.
Okay, now have you looked at the entry list, Jake?
I did, and I know you mentioned this earlier. There's 7 drivers that have made all 6 starts so far. There are 12 on the entry list, 1 all-star, if you will, of Greg Biffle. The 7 that have made all starts are on there, as well as a few additional ones. So let's see.
Yeah.
Robbie Keneally, Todd Souza, Eric Johnson Jr., Tanner Reif, Jake Bowman, Greg Biffle, Tyler Brown, I think that's a new one, out of Kennewick, Washington, which is Greg Biffle being from Vancouver, Washington. Then your points leader, Trevor Huddleston, Blake Lethian, Kyle Keller, Jonathan Reum, and David Smith. Those are your 12.
And David is from British Columbia, Sydney, British Columbia. So that makes this an international race.
It does, and he is the one that is 7th in the points. As far as one of the 7 drivers that have all 6 starts. So good to see that.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get started with our bullet points here for this race. The ARCA Menard Series West will race at Tri City Raceway in West Richland, Washington, in Saturday's NAPA Auto Parts 150, presented by Vic's Auto Care. It will be the 11th race of the 12 on the West Series calendar in 2025, and the 11th race all time at Tri City Raceway.
When we look at some previous ARCA Menard Series West winners at Tri City Raceway, it includes Ray Elder in 1968 and 70. Jim Cook split that up in 1969. The Jake McCoy in 1972. Then there's a gap. Roy Smith in 89 and 90. Dirk Stevens in 1993. Mike Chase in 94. Jason Jefferson in 2003. And Tyler Reif in 2024. So again, there's a couple of big gaps in there where it wasn't on the schedule, but good to see him back now for the 2nd year in a row.
Now, Trevor Huddleston, who drives that number 50 High Point Racing Race Car Factory Ford, leads the ARCA Menard Series West standings by 14 points over Tanner Reif. Tanner drives the number 13 Central Coast Cabinets Toyota and entering the NAPA Auto Parts 150 at Tri City Raceway. Huddleston has won twice this season. Both of those wins came at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway, and he finished 7th at Tri City in 2024. So we'll see if he can better that this time around.
Now, if he were to win on Saturday, Tanner Reif can team with his brother Tyler, the 2024 winner at Tri City Raceway, to make history. With a Reif victory, they would become the first brothers to win at the same track in back-to-back years in West Series history. And just to add to that history, Tyler also won while driving for the Todd and Kelly Souza-owned Central Coast Racing Team.
Let me go to Kyle Keller in the number 71 Jan's Racing Ford heads to Tri City Raceway, still searching for that first career ARCA Menard Series West victory. Now, Keller has finished 2nd 3 times so far this season, in both races at Kevin Harvick's Kern Raceway and also at Colorado National Speedway. Keller is 3rd in the ARCA Menard Series West Championship standings. He's 15 points out of the lead and just 1 point away from 2nd place.
Now, Colorado National Speedway winner Jake Bowman in the number 19 Napa Auto Care Chevrolet returns to the seat of that potent Bill McAnally Racing entry. Christian Eckes piloted that number 19 to a runner-up finish in the most recent series race at Sonoma Raceway back in July.
All right, and a lot of people are excited about this. The former NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series and NASCAR Xfinity Series champion Greg Biffle will be driving the number 23 Sigma Performance Services Chevrolet. He's returning to his home track to race with the ARCA Menard Series West for the second consecutive year. Biffle has 19 career NASCAR Cup Series wins, 20 Xfinity Series victories, and 17 Truck Series wins. He finished ninth at Tri City last year. He was the 1995 and 96 track champion at the unique three-cornered oval. So I get the feeling that this is a little bit like the tricky triangle of Pocono.
Yeah, a little bit of an interesting. We don't see as much exposure on that, but a very unique track. Now, Sean Hingorani holds the ARCA Menard Series West track qualifying record at Tri City Raceway. That was set in 2024 at 18.67 seconds, 675 seconds, which equates to 96.386 miles per hour.
Okay, and Jack McCoy holds the ARCA Menard Series West track race record at Tri City Raceway. That was set in 1972, so that's a long-standing record, at 81.818 miles per hour. Pretty impressive that it's been long.
That's what I was just thinking. Normally you see them broken at some point. That one has withheld for a long time. Now, the record for the most cautions in an ARCA Menard Series West race at Tri City Raceway is 10 for a record 72 laps set in a 200-lap race in 1990. That's almost half the race.
And the record for the fewest cautions in an ARCA Menard Series West race at Tri City Raceway is 1. That was set in 1968 and matched again in 1970 and again in 1972. The record for the fewest laps under caution is 8 in 1972. That's another long-standing record.
Well, and that ties right into that. That's why that's the fastest race, is the fewest caution generally leads to that kind of record. Now, the NAPA Auto Parts 150 presented by Vic's Auto Care will be streamed live. This will be on Flow Racing. It'll start at 10:45 p.m. Eastern Time, 7:45 p.m. Pacific Time on Saturday, August 9th. Live timing and scoring, though, data and live race audio is available at arcaracing.com. And you can also follow at ARCA_racing on X, which is formerly known as Twitter, and receive up-to-the-minute update.
Pretty cool to see this race happening, and it is going to be interesting because there's a points battle going on here too.
It is not just like a couple of them. We talk about it, when it comes to the end of the season, the cream rising to the top. Trevor Huddleston has extended his lead a little bit. It's now 14 points, which I think is the biggest of the season. Over Tanner Reif. And then you mentioned Kyle Keller only being one more point back. Eric Johnson Jr. at minus 28, not out of it, but he's got some work to do, as well as Robbie Keneally at minus 35 in fifth. I know at one point early in the season, those five were staying within like 10 points, all of them. It's extended out a little bit now. Trevor Huddleston, 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and 5 top 10s in those 6 races. Average finish of 4.3. You got Tanner Reif, 1 win, 4 top 5s, and 5 top 10s. Average finish is 5.8, so just a tick behind that. And in between there, Kyle Keller, although third in points, 4 top 5s, 5 top 10s, his average finish is actually second best at 5.5. Again, it's tough to gain points when you only get a 1 position difference between all 3 of these drivers.
Yeah, they've been very tight all season long. So we'll see if anything switches up after this race.
And then again, you mentioned Greg Biffle. I think he's got a good shot of running good. Again, trying to think when the last time I saw him race was, how competitive he is, but this being a home race, you mentioned it's second year in a row he's doing it. I love to see that these drivers, I know Kevin Harvick's big on that. Actually, Kevin Harvick has a whole track named after him now, but still being involved in especially their hometown track.
Yeah, he finished 9th there last year. I would expect he'll probably have a better finish this season.
And you mentioned earlier a second Canadian driver on the entry list, Jonathan Reume, another Canadian driver that will be there this weekend. So love to see that mixture as well. I know normally we have a Japanese driver, but Takuma Koga has been running the East Series this year.
Okay. Anything else you want to mention before we move on, Jay?
No, this one will be really interesting. The one, if you're not going to look up at those top three, we're talking about the points battle. I think Jake Bowman showed, at Colorado National, he's somebody to contend with. So don't count him out of the mix either.
And it looks like tickets are still available. If you go to arcaracing.com, they have links for Friday's ARCA and Truck Series doubleheader at Watkins Glen, as well as for this race, the ARCA West Series race on Saturday night at Richland, Washington. So you can click those links if you have any interest in being there.
Well, I have interest. I just don't have that capability, unfortunately. That'd be a long haul.
Yeah, for this one, I'll be watching on Flow Racing, but it will be. They're always exciting to watch for sure.
And I don't think Sal. I don't know that Sal went up to this one in Washington anyway. But again, our thoughts with Sal. I know he's been back doing the show, but is still going through recovery. So continuing to keep him in our thoughts.
Yes, I don't think he's traveling to any racetracks just yet. Okay, so do watch for more coming soon. We've got 5 races this weekend with all 3 series from the NASCAR National Group, as well as the ARCA West race that we just talked about, and the ARCA Menard Series race racing at Watkins Glen with NASCAR's top 3. So a lot of racing this weekend for you to watch. And on Friday, we will be back with Taz to talk about our fantasy report to help everybody with their fantasy picks for the NASCAR Cup Series out at Watkins Glen. So that's always fun to do as well. And on the other side of the race weekend, which we hope everybody will have a lot of fun watching, we'll be back with all the reviews of these races, as well as our live stream of the NASCAR Hot Topics Sound Off here on Fan for Racing Radio at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. So we hope everybody will tune in for that, and maybe even join us on the live chat during our live stream, along with All Sports All Day and anybody else who wants to join us.
And Sharon, just to leave this with an interesting thought, if you will, of that NASCAR weekend is in the Pacific Northwest and then the Northeast. Who says this is a Southern sport?
No kidding. We're all over the place. All right. I wanted to mention too, as long as I've got a note, in the ASA Stars National Tour that's going to be racing this weekend, I forgot to mention this, Big Time Racing returns to Ovid, Michigan on Wednesday, August the 20th. I know that's in the future, but a press release came out today to say NASCAR Cup Series driver Noah Gragson is going to be competing in that Michigan 300 in Owasso Speedway with the ASA Stars National Tour. So really cool to see Gragson participating in that event.
Most certainly. That's one of my favorite drivers. So again, of getting a little more seat time. I know he hasn't had the best season at the Cup Series level, but that's okay. We'll come back strong.
Okay, and I'm just marking my calendar for that race on August the 20th. So, okay, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We do appreciate you. And we'll look forward to talking to you in our next video, which is going to be our last preview the NASCAR Cup Series. So take care, everybody.
All right. Talk to you soon.